Hey everybody, it's Eric over at Breakthrough Broker. This is being recorded as always. People, please tell me where you're calling in from today. Where are you calling in from today? Let me know. Let's see what we have here. California. Hello, Angelica. Um, guys, keep letting me know where you're calling in from. Cool. Let's see what else we have. Prosper, Texas, Sarasota, Florida, San Antonio, Maryland, Houston. Those of you that may or may not know, I'm calling in right now. I'm live from Costa Rica. So, hey, everybody. We're talking about conferences, and I set this webinar up because I attend a lot of conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences. I do a lot of local events and national events and webinars. And one of the biggest pet peeves I've had about us realtors since I started years ago was the fact that we hear successful ideas and we don't execute on them all the time. OKC, Chino Lakes, Illinois, Phoenix, hello, hello, Montana, Pennsylvania, Coeur d'Alene. Julie, what's up? I was just there, maybe or maybe not. I met you. Let's at an event I spoke at. So, guys, welcome. And again, we're going to be talking today about taking advantage of conferences, but I think we can substitute the word conference for class. I don't care, local event, webinar. There are so many times as a real estate professional, I went to a local event, a class. As a broker owner, I had someone in to teach. We went to the NAR conference every year. We went to Inman every year, and I can't tell you how many times and how many ideas I got from those conferences. Now, we were able to execute on a lot, but I see time and time again, we as real estate professionals get an amazing idea or we take in inspiration and we go back to our daily lives. It's 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 so easy to go to an event and say, "Oh, man, I really should do this," or I should do that. We have all these shoulds, the longest should list in the world. And we leave the event, and the next thing we know, we're chasing the kids around, we're driving the kids everywhere. We've got this going on and that going on, and we don't execute on all the things we got so excited about. So I thought I'd put together a little class. It's not very long. It's being recorded on what we can do to take advantage of these classes or webinars or events or anything like that that we go to. Now, a conference, that's really interesting, whether it's, recently I've been going to these Tom Ferry events, the local Tom Ferry Edge events. They're awesome. And the Tom Ferry Summit last August was great. Like 3 days, 3 days of inspiration, great ideas, proven ideas, great speakers. And then I would go speak to agents after the events and be like, "What'd you learn?" They were pumped. I went to a lunch one day during the Tom Ferry Summit, and the lunch was great. We were sitting with, I don't know, like 6 or 7 agents, and they were pumped. Like they had this idea and that idea, and they want to try this and try that. And I would look at them and be like, "Great, what's next?" And there was a blank stare out of many of them. So, guys, pipe in into the question bar. Do you guys suffer from this as well? I mean, do you ever go to training events and you get all these great ideas and then life takes over after you leave and we don't implement? Pam says yes. Um, Jeannie says yes. What else, guys? Anyone else have this same problem? Because I see it all the time, more than just two people. Every time Miriam says, all the time Ari says, right. So let's jump in. Let me share my screen. Let's jump in and take a look. You guys should see my screen right now. And we're gonna talk about some of these are super common sense. All right. But what I really want, let me get my chat over to the other screen because I want you guys asking questions, diving in at any time. Okay, guys? And my team is on this call too, so they're going to add some things to this. But let's take advantage. of the time. Why in the world would we go somewhere and take time away from our family, from our business to sit through an event and not do something with it? It's so counterproductive and it seems so common sense. But let's those of you on this call today and those of you watching this replay, let's take a pledge to ourselves that in 2026 we are not going to go to an event or watch a webinar or take a class at home or go to the local board of realtors and hear a speaker that we don't execute on at least one thing that we learn. Okay. If we commit to that, if we take this pledge, you're going to grow your business because the people at these conferences have content and ideas and inspiration to share, but it's all about going and doing what they're teaching. And if you can do that, you will be better than 99.5% of everyone in the room next to you at these events. Everyone, everyone. Some of us do the same with video. Let's see what we say here. I try to, but life gets in the way all the time, Larry. We're going to talk about life getting in the way because we're going to identify a dollar sign to some of these shoulds. We're going to identify what we could make, the ROI of going to a conference, right? I even take notes, Gail says, but I don't go back to them. So we're going to start. We're going to start by taking a pledge. Listen, why do we attend conferences, guys? Nathan and I, this is one thing we were good at. We were great conferencers. Nathan was my business partner when we ran a brokerage and we had a team. We had a top producing team in a brokerage, right? And one of the things we loved to do was go to conferences. We went to NAR every year. We'd go to Inman, we'd go to a lot of classes, and they were designed to get ideas. But what we learned early on was if we went to these conferences and didn't do anything with it, we were losing money. We were taking time away. So there was one thing, there was a lot of things we didn't do well. There was one thing we did really well, and it was go to these conferences with the intent to learn something to put into action to make money, right? Pam says it's so dumb to spend time and money and then not implement anything, yet we don't think about it. We get busy. Again, Pam, I'm going to identify ways around that at the end of this call. We're going to talk about how to condition our mind to take action. Okay. And that's why I wanted to do this today because it's such a pet peeve of mine. So, why do we attend conferences? Guys, tell me, why do you attend conferences? You're welcome, Pam. Talk to me in the chat. Why, if you're wondering why I'm looking, it's because my chat is on a different screen. To learn, okay? We want to learn and network, learn concepts and ideas. I agree, Eddie. Um, Absolutely. Golden nuggets. So I love this, guys, to network, to learn, to get some golden nuggets, to get motivated. That is one. Guys, we don't learn something not to make money from it. We don't want to go get golden nuggets to not take that golden nugget and make money from it. So really, the only reason we go to a class, an event, take a webinar is so we can learn something to make money from it. But if you look back at last year, how many of these things did you go on and then not do something? Guys, this is my soapbox in 2026. It's all about execution. My team is on the call right now, and one of my team, Taylor, Taylor, Taylor said to me, inspiration into execution. That's what we do. And that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to take this pledge. Every time we learn something this year, we're going to do something. We don't attend conferences and take time out of our day or spend money to learn to not make money off it, to not see ROI off of it. Look, if I go to a conference and spend a couple $1,000s, don't I want to learn something so that I could go make a $15,000 commission off the thing I learned? And what if I made three $15,000 commissions off the idea I learned? That ROI for that conference was amazing. And to get motivated, and I see these things, get motivated to do what? Get motivated to make some money, get motivated to take action on our marketing. So, yes, all of these things are why we go to a conference. So, let's get into this a little bit. Every time we go, and I want you, I say conference in here, guys, but let's say webinar, local class at the board of realtors. Your broker owner brings someone in to speak to you, or you go to a conference and spend money on the conference, on the travel. Let's pre-plan a little bit. You will get more out of it if you do a teeny bit of research beforehand. What do you want to be motivated about? What do you want to learn and improve on? What effective marketing do you think you'll learn? So, pre-conference planning, what do we hope to get out of the conference? Guys, if you do anything in life without like a plan, what do you expect to get out of it? Right? We go to a great restaurant because we expect to get an amazing dinner and great service out of it. You shouldn't go, and many of us, if we want to go to a new restaurant on date night, what are we going to do? We're going to check it out. We're going to read reviews. We're going to know what to expect. We're at least going to know what kind of food the restaurant has before we get there, but we don't do that in our conference. Plan your conference. Guys, Nathan and I used to, when we'd go to NAR or we'd go to a conference, we would look at all the speakers and then we would read about the speakers and then we would try to figure out which speakers were going to talk about things we cared about. And we'd have our whole thing, our whole plan set up before we got there. If you're going to a one-day conference, at least read what speakers are coming and what they talk about, what their expertise is, right? And so if you go in up front, knowing and understanding what they're going to talk about and what it's hot in here. Turn on the AC. Anyway, not turning on. So I want you to research who and what. Very simple, guys. I mean, in this day and age, it's important to know what you're getting into before you get there. Have a basic idea of what's being presented because it's going to help you to decide during the class or the event or the conference what's important to you. You'll have a preconceived notion, which is good, about what you are looking for. And this is going to help you the day of, because we're going to talk about day of conference and what I call big menu syndrome here in a minute. Number 2, commit. How many times do you go to a class and you see other agents on their phone and texting and walking in and walking out and not really paying much attention? Why would you go and take the time if you're not going to commit to be there? Don't do it. Go do something else. Right? Get to something else. Okay, so commit to it. Go to the conference with a certain mindset. Get to the conference with a certain mindset. Leave your work outside the conference. Take notes, photos, do the breakouts, and you'll get out of it what you put into it. Okay, guys? All of that is really part of what you're going to see when you get there. Okay? Number 4, manage the shoulds. Now we're going to get into shoulds here in a second and how to manage the highest money-making content. Okay, guys? Let's manage the shoulds. When you're at a conference or in a class, do you ever get overwhelmed with big menu syndrome? Like, oh my gosh, I should try that. That's a great idea. I should do this. I should do that. So we want to manage that. We want to absorb 3 to 4 ideas from the conference. The idea with the highest money-making activity should be the highest money-making potential should be what you really, really obsess about. So you're going to intake everything you're learning, and then you're going to write down and circle, or we're going to pay attention to the highest money-making potential. Okay. The ideas with the highest likelihood that you can execute on as well. So we're going to manage the shoulds. And then last, execute. And we're going to talk about execution here in a second. I'm going to talk about doing a pro forma on how much money you're going to make if you execute on this idea. Now, this is how We don't go back to our natural like tendencies. We go to a meeting, we go to an event, we hear an idea. Like the idea is you're at a conference and you hear from Tom Ferry expired listings. And you think to yourself, yeah, there's a ton of expireds in my marketplace. And let's talk about how we're going to execute that. There's a letter for expired listings on Breakthrough Broker, and you're going to take that letter and you're going to pull an expired and you're going to hand deliver it or you're going to mail it to them right away. Now we're going to do expired listings for a month, right? And the pro forma on that is I think I'm going to get our average sales price is 600,000. So if I can get one listing from executing, if I can get a listing a month from executing on this, right? That goes into our business plan, but it's worth, six, 17, $18,000 to me if I actually do it. If it sits on the sideline, if it's just a should from the conference or the class, right? Then we are not going to do it in our mind. So do a pro forma on the actual idea. Write a recipe for that execution and only do that. Only do that. I'm going to go into some of this stuff a little deeper here in a second. So those of you that want to stay, stay. It's a 20-minute webinar, but I'm going to go a little deeper into the idea of executing on our shoulds. Okay, guys? So if we do a pro forma, and I'm gonna jump to a pro forma, right? Let's do a pro forma right now. We are gonna say, all right, on our shoulds, we learned from this class how to do open house marketing. And I believe I should be able to get 10 transactions if I execute on what the speaker had to say about open houses. Or we went to a class on networking and sphere of influence marketing. And I think I could get 5 transactions from my network. Or I took a class on geo farming. And I think if I do what the speaker says, I can do 2 transactions. Okay. Let's take a look at what these transactions represent if we execute. All right. So we went to a marketing conference, and I decided that the 6 things that were most important to me were open house marketing, sphere of influence marketing, geo farming, expired listings, past clients, and downsizing. And I think if I executed on that, I could go out and get 27 more transactions. Well, the average sales price in my marketplace is $500,000. So 27 times 500,000 is 13,500,000 in sales volume. Okay. So that's $405,000 in gross commission income just by executing on those 6 things that I thought that I learned at this conference would be the highest money-making activity for me and that I should execute on. Now, why would you do anything else? Why would you do anything else in your business but execute on those 6 things right now? One conference, 6 things. Okay. So I'm going to get through all this theoretical stuff and then hop back into what we can do, right? We want to make that recipe, right? So the recipe for that is one of the things I'd like to see you guys do is we go to open house marketing. And we're going to write a recipe for better open house marketing. Number 1, send a postcard to the closest 50 homes, inviting them as a VIP neighborhood open house. Number 2, find that postcard. Number 3, send that postcard. Number 4, find a door hanger that says VIP open house, print it. Number 7, hand it out on the 50 closest homes. So we just invited someone that says, we invited 50 people that says, come see what your neighbors are selling their home for an hour before the general public. Then we put a door hanger on it and we wrote that recipe. Why? Because we know that if we can get 10 neighbors in to that home, okay, 2 or 3 of those neighbors are going to want to know what their home is worth. And 1 is probably going to want to sell. If we do that 3 times a month, we just got 3 listings a month. Average sales price, 500,000, 15,000 in gross commission income. This one idea that I got at a conference just turned into $45,000 in gross commission income. So why would I not write the recipe and only work on that? So hang on one second. Where's my chat? Are you guys there? There we go. Are you still with me, Taylor? Yes, 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 yes. Good. Guys, any questions on as we're talking about that, how that relates, right? So the idea is we need to cultivate our shoulds, and we need to curate the shoulds from any class we take. Okay. Then the next thing we do is look at all the ideas we got from any class we take and decide which of those ideas is probably the highest money-making outcome. Then let's write that down. What's the ROI on this idea? We want to take that, okay? We want to leverage this idea and we want to figure out what we're going to do to make that happen. Okay. So we're going to write that recipe. And why do anything else? Why go to lunch? Why go to a networking event when I can sit at home and realize that if I can execute on this idea, I'm likely going to make $45,000. So those are the steps. So that's the meat of it, is executing on those shoulds, right, guys? What are some other ideas you guys have as it relates? We could get into psychology. When we were talking psychology before, I got a few messages privately from people on the call saying, get to the meat of this. But I think the psychology is important. Why do we go and spend money on a class or a conference and then go back to our life running around and not execute on anything? And I believe the main reason for that is we haven't attached the outcome to it. The outcome of executing on these ideas and inspiration is more money. The outcome is income. I don't know. I know that's corny, but the outcome is income. No reason to take a class if we don't execute on these ideas. No reason to take a class or go to a conference if we are not going to go back and execute on some of these ideas, right? And so just to go back through this again, I want you to pre-plan conference because that's going to help you figure out what shoulds are most important. Commit to this. I get it. That's common sense. Manage your shoulds. Once you've pre-planned and committed, you're going to know when you got 32 ideas in a 2-day conference, which 10 are the most important and which 5 you should work on first. Okay. Does that make sense? Then I want you guys to work on that executing. And a pro forma basically is a recipe, a plan for how to do it and how much money you will make if you execute on it. Okay. Guys, we're all about execution this year. Our whole theme at Breakthrough Broker is inspiration into execution. So when you go to a conference, when you learn something at a conference, when you go to a class or you have someone who does a webinar or invites you to a webinar and you get these ideas, the one place in the world that was designed to help you execute on any idea you get anywhere in this industry is Breakthrough Broker. The one place in the world where you can go to find what you just heard and execute on is what we do. And that's why we built this. And sometimes people say to us, what is this about? What is Breakthrough Broker? It's too big. 5,000 pieces of content, all on brand. What do I do first? I just want you to leverage it as that one place. That one place. If someone talked about expired listings, let's search for expireds on Breakthrough Broker and see what we have. Expired listing marketing. Let's see what we have. And we have letters and we have an expired listing roadmap and a playbook, all of what you need to execute on what's going on out in the industry. So again, if you're part of us and you're a member, I love you guys. Thank you. If you're not part of us and you're not a member and you didn't know what we do, it's all about executing on what you're learning out in the industry. That's what we do. So guys, my team put up a special today. I think you get 10% off print for the lifetime of being part of us. If you're already a member, copy this down because you can use it. And outcome is income. I love it. Um, guys, thank you for joining us today. We're going to be doing a lot of these micro webinars each week to talk about the concepts that I come up with, like let's do better at conferencing. And so keep an eye on what we're doing. Again, I want to be topical. If you have ideas that you want us to chat about here on these micro webinars, send them to us, right? Send them to us, support at breakthroughbroker.com and say, I'd like you guys to talk about this or that. We're here. If you don't know about our Monday marketing minutes, when we send this out, Taylor, can you put the link to the Monday marketing minutes? I do a call every Monday morning with Tristan Amata, who's an international coach, one of the best minds in the industry, and we just chat up marketing for 10 minutes every Monday morning. So if you haven't been on that, please come and we'll put that out with our stuff. Thanks, Pam. It's awesome to hear. Rich, thank you. Miriam, thank you. And guys, let's keep rock and rolling this year. We'll do our part by bringing you guys some solutions. You do your part by executing and go make more money. And then I want to hear about it. Okay, guys. See y'all soon. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.